I worked at an ayahuasca retreat and I drank medicine hundreds of times. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Number one, if you're here, I'm assuming you know what ayahuasca is, but if not, ayahuasca is a brew made by indigenous people in the Amazon. It's a brew that dates back to 2000 years ago. That's the earliest discoveries of it. According to the local cultures, it is believed to have been around for far longer. It's a brew made out of two plants found in the Amazon, which for some reason the indigenous people knew out of hundreds of thousands of diverse plant and vine species. These two plants, when in combination with each other and brewed in a specific way, create a compound that has orally active DMT. DMT is a psychedelic, psychoactive compound that when we take it, we experience an altered state of consciousness. So the science behind it is that is these two things mixed in this brew create that effect. However, the interesting thing is that indigenous people didn't have tools as we know them today, modern technology, through which they could have figured out that it was this exact vine with this exact leaf that will create such effect. When asked, they always share that it was the plants, it was nature that told them what to mix. So from here lies the beginning of the ayahuasca tradition, which was a deep communion with nature, with what was believed to be the spirit of the jungle, of the lands, of the earth, and a spiritual relationship to something greater, which for indigenous people, the greater thing was it was earth, it was nature, because the sun and the earth created life. So they called the sun their father, the land their mother. So they prayed to the water, to the fire, to the wind, to the earth. So their prayers were to those things that sustained their life. And out of here, the ayahuasca tradition was born. They realized that when drinking this, they could go into deep altered states of consciousness where they could understand and gain mastery over their own energies and sometimes that of nature itself. So a shaman means he who dances with chaos or she who dances with chaos. So it's someone that knows how to thread the spirit world and the physical world. So this is ayahuasca. Ayahuasca in modern days, you may have heard of it, is used for healing purposes predominantly, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional healing. However, in its tradition, it was only the shaman that was allowed to use it. And it took hundreds of years, if not thousands, before the shaman decided that his community also needed to drink medicine. And even then, it was been less than 100 years, I think less than 60 years, since foreigners or people that were external to the community were allowed to drink the medicine. It was very well kept, very reserved, because they had seen that the white man, the white people, the colonizers had stolen sacred medicines like tobacco and turned it into cigarettes. They had stolen coca leaf and turned it into cocaine. And they were afraid that they were going to do the same with ayahuasca. And they have done it. We have people who've spent a couple of weeks in the jungle that call themselves facilitators. We have a lot of danger that happens all throughout the world because of the misuse of a plant that had an ancient lineage and an ancient tradition of how to use it and how not to use it. For thousands of years, people realize how things can go wrong and what to do instead. So this is ayahuasca. It's a brew made for spiritual connection, for healing, and for organizing the life that you are. Now, there are some good reasons to attend a retreat and some bad reasons. So let me start with the bad reasons. A couple of reasons not to attend an ayahuasca retreat. Number one, psychedelic tourism. If you're just smoking weed, taking mushrooms, puffing DMT, or popping pills, or in a train of psychedelic experimentation, ayahuasca will not stand it. I've met many people, especially young men, that are like this. They take some ecstasy, smoke some weed, take some mushrooms, and have the time of their life. And they think that ayahuasca is just going to add to another notch on their bed of psychedelic use. And what ends up happening is that this is a medicine that demands a lot of commitment, a medicine that is very benevolent, but that if when treated poorly or with disrespect, can have severe consequences. There's one of these men that I know that ended up I'm not going to tell the story. There's another video called Ayahuasca Horror Stories. Check it out. But this is a man that ended up in the psychiatric ward, in jail, because of the misuse of a lot of different sacred medicines. So if you just want to experiment, if you're curious, ayahuasca is not for you. Because ayahuasca can change your life drastically. And if all you want is a good experience, then you don't know what you're bargaining for. You're going to get a lot more than you anticipated. Number two, another bad reason to drink ayahuasca is that somebody forced you, or that you want to come with someone. You're not really interested, but one of your friends wants to go and you don't want to be left behind. Ayahuasca is a very personal calling. Although I believe that almost everyone on earth will benefit from drinking it, not everyone is ready for it. But every single person understands when their time has come and when they feel called. That's usually when they find themselves in videos like these on YouTube, or in conversations, or hearing or watching something that sparks that curiosity. The calling becomes more and more evident, and then that is the spirit of the plant inviting you to go into communion with her. However, if it's just out of boredom, or your friends are going or your family is going and you just don't want to stay home by yourself, not a good idea. More often than not, when people come like this, they don't really connect. Why? Because they're not involved. They don't have a serious question. Beyond a serious question, a serious feeling of seeking, of wanting something else. So the medicine doesn't want to disturb anyone past the point where they're open. It's not going to force the change of willpower of anybody. So that's another reason not to drink ayahuasca. And then finally, ayahuasca is not something that should be drunk as a quick fix. Now, I'm not saying that that it's not capable of delivering borderline miraculous transformations. That's been the experience of my own life, my mother's, plenty of people that I've worked with that have come to drink medicine with us. I've seen it radically transform the lives of many people that I know. So much so that people are barely recognizable afterwards. But what I'm saying is that you should not expect that you're going to drink this thing and it's going to do the work for you and you can go home and go back into your old life and do nothing and now you're better. No. Ayahuasca is going to help you cleanse, purify your body, come into awareness. But above all, it's going to tell you exactly the ways in which you are sabotaging your own life. The friendships, the job, the relationships, the habits that are destroying you. And it's going to tell you, hey, you got to cut that out. And it's up to you to come to that realization and do the homework. Drinking ayahuasca without doing the homework amounts to nothing, to just spiritual entertainment. And I know because I spent some of my time doing that. I thought drinking, and just because I'm drinking, I'm doing the work. Doesn't work like that. You do the work when you do the work in your day-to-day life. When you're drinking, you're gaining awareness, you're going to class, the teacher is teaching you, but you have to take the homework and implement it on your own. Now, reasons to attend ayahuasca. I will say that especially if you have felt a deep calling, that there's more in life, and you don't know what it is, you look around and in your life you feel that you've checked all the boxes of what a good life should be. Maybe you've made a decent amount of money, are happy with your career. Health-wise, maybe you're okay. You have friends, maybe you have kids. Yet somehow something feels a little bit empty. You feel like, is this all my life amounts to? Going to work, coming home, eating, sleeping, rinse and repeat. So this is a deep spiritual calling that usually arises in a person's life when they have achieved everything they thought would make them happy and they are still miserable. And I know because I was there. I made a lot of money, was with a lot of women, was taking a lot of drugs, partying, and living my life according to the stereotypes of what a man should do. And I was not that happy. I felt like there must be something more to life. That's a good reason to come, a deep spiritual curiosity. Number two, you are in pain and you have tried different ways to address it with little progress or none at all. Mental health complications, physical health complications, chronic pain. I'm not saying that ayahuasca is going to solve anything that you're coming with, but it's a very powerful tool to bring you into awareness of the root of the problem. It may help you purify your body. I've had, for example, my mother, she healed her fibromyalgia, chronic fibromyalgia from multiple years. She was close to paralyzed in bed. After her first ceremony, the fibromyalgia was gone. But it showed her that it was her that had created it through her way of thinking, her way of feeling, her resentment, her grudges she was holding against other people. So a good reason to drink ayahuasca is if you're in pain, especially if you've tried other modalities and you feel like things are going too slow and the pain is increasing at a faster pace. Depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Sometimes you just want to get things done. You want to get a factory reset, and ayahuasca can help you with that. Something else that is very useful for some people is to find clarity. This can be clarity around what's next for them in their life, clarity of purpose, clarity of relationship, realizing like, should I stay or should I go? Should I stay in this marriage? Should I marry this woman? Sometimes our mind gets in the way and we cannot come to a solution. Ayahuasca allows us to connect to our heart and understand what is true for us and what is the highest timeline, the highest possible path to take for the evolution of our soul. So if you need clarity, it's also a very good reason to drink ayahuasca. Now, I wish somebody had told me a couple of tips for the ceremonies very quickly. One of the main things that I recommend to people is to prepare very well, extremely, extremely well. In some ayahuasca centers, they tell you it's okay, just 2 or 3 days. It's not okay. If God is coming to your home, do you just rush the cleaning 3 minutes after they arrive, after whatever you believe in arrives? No, you're probably going to prepare very well. My experience with plant medicines is that the better I have prepared, the more I have put on my effort, my commitment, and shown my respect to the spirit of the plant, the more the spirit has also honored that and has given me gifts, teachings, lessons, and support, because it's a living being. And like in life, there's the law of harmony, the law of balance. What you put out comes back to you. You put out nonsense, comes back. You put out mediocrity, it comes back to you. You put out deep involvement, it comes back to you. My best experiences, most of them have been after preparing very, 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 very well. So follow the dieta. Number 2, sit straight. Most ayahuasca centers provide you with a mat. It's okay. Some people need it, they feel very weak. But if you do yoga or you have a spiritual practice or you have a strong relationship to your body, I invite you to keep your spine erect. Of course, lay on your chair if you need to. But sitting down is easier for the energy to move up the spine. A lot of people that end up going through experiences that are overwhelming, they are laying down and they start losing it because their energy is just moving parallel to the floor and kind of get stuck instead of flowing upwards. Again, there's a video that I have that explains in more detail how to do this and 3 tips to prepare properly for ceremony. Finally, the other tip for ceremony was the most important and the one that very few people talk about, and is that ayahuasca can show you a lot of things, but you have to do the work. I spent a lot of time thinking that drinking ayahuasca was doing the work. It is not. Going to school is not learning. Sitting in a classroom is not learning. Showing up at the gym and watching the gym videos and seeing your gym teacher show you a little bit and maybe do one set with you, that's not working out. Working out is going to require that you face your own tension. Of course, you're going to grow more fit, more handsome, more beautiful if somebody has shown you the right way and you know exactly how to train. You want to save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of injuries, a lot of time. But at the end of the day, you have to face that tension because it is your life. And the source of life wants you to grow, wants you to evolve. And evolution happens through challenge, the divine challenge of being alive, of not knowing who we are, of forgetting it, pretending that we don't remember. The challenge of coming to obstacles that seem bigger than us until we realize that that was all in our imagination. Life wants you to thrive, to grow, to expand, but expansion very often comes through tension, through effort, through stepping face to face against challenges that are difficult, things that demand you become a bigger person. So no plant medicine, no spiritual teacher, if they love you and if they're genuine, will take that away from you. They may point the way, they may give you some very powerful tools, but they understand that nobody can walk your spiritual journey for you. Nobody can heal for you. If somebody heals you, you become dependent on them. So be wary of charlatans, shamans, spiritual teachers, any mentors that promise that they're going to heal you. Nobody heals you. The source of your life arrives to a point of healing by remembering its truth. So always prioritize integration, prioritize the implementation of what you learn, and know that drinking a psychedelic is not doing the work. It can point you in the right direction, but it is not the end all, it's not the final solution. And finally, I wish that somebody had told me how much my life would change. I wish somebody had told me that I would lose most of my friends, the relationships I was seeing, most of the things I used to love doing, and that I would be happier because of that. But nobody told me. So it was overwhelming at one point. I felt lonely. I felt a little dissociated, like I didn't fit in reality anymore. I felt like I didn't know who I was. That was true because who I was used to being was the result of my compulsions, the result of my conditioning, the result of my habits, my trauma. So I didn't know what being free felt like in my body. Also, I didn't know what being discerning and having awareness around how I spend my time, my energy will do to my social circles. Realizing, whoa, actually, I don't have that much in common with many people. And I don't like these places that we're going to. And I don't like drinking anymore. So, something to keep in mind is that your life may change drastically, hopefully. So, be ready for that. And whenever you start seeing that things are falling apart, it's like the little carcass of the egg, the little shell starts breaking apart when life is coming forth. The cocoon breaks so the butterfly may extend its wings. The same way, something of your life has to fall apart for the truth that lies within you to be able to fly. Thank you for watching this. Please like, subscribe, and drop me any comments if you would love to understand more about ayahuasca. And come and drink medicine with us in Colombia. The links are below. Thank you for watching.